So just to give a little update on the sale of Chelsea, this never-ending thing filled with questions.
You're buying it?
No, it's not going to be me.
Okay.
So April 11th is a deadline for the next set of bids, but I mean, deadline, schmedline, right? Most people say there's 4 left in there. What's interesting is this isn't something where one person comes and buys it. There's all groups of billionaires banding together, which I think is really interesting from a governance perspective in terms of what happens next. But the one that we're told in some ways is in the driving seat is the Ricketts family.
Right.
Why they're in the driving seat, I presume maybe they made the highest bid. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know here. But and then, by the way, it's not just the Ricketts family. They've teamed up with others, of course. But there's been a big backlash, which we've talked about, against sort of the patriarch for comments he's made in the past about Muslims. There's the where he said Muslims are my enemy, and Chelsea Supporters Trust, releasing a statement saying that they'd polled their supporters. 77% have a negative opinion of the Ricketts family. That's tough to overcome, and so they've kind of been on a PR offensive. And one of the things they've said is they've pledged never to join a Super League. I'm assuming, whatever your thoughts are on this, but if the people who owned your club made a pledge like that, would your instinct be to believe them?
Not really, no. No, but I'm quite cynical, so no, I wouldn't say I would believe them. They're buying the club because they want to make money, and lots of people think that the best way to make money as a super club is to go into a super European league. I really can't answer that question. But as the supporters, they obviously aren't happy with them at the moment, and if somebody takes over that's never going to be popular, it doesn't work, does it? As we've seen with the Glazers at times. Yeah, I mean, I think to some degree you can win people over.
It
takes a long time.
But I think a lot of times when we see the sale of a club, it's often an unpopular owner, say Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
Being replaced by somebody new who you might have reservations about or whatever. And so in some ways it makes it easier. Here, you're replacing somebody who, leaving the political side of things aside, was extremely popular with Chelsea fans for the way that he invested the club.
The fate of Chelsea.
Exactly. So it is a tough act to follow, and I think that's part of what makes the Ricketts bid, what makes him a bit uneasy. What I find fascinating though is that you have supporters of Real Madrid and Juventus, among others, saying like, "Oh, you're all idiots. We need a super league for Europe to survive. Otherwise, we'll be dominated by petrodollar clubs and blah, blah, blah," right? And, and they're angry that there is no super league. And here we have somebody coming in, buying a club that's, or bidding for a club that, in some ways, in the context of football, is nouveau riche, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
Telling the fans, making it kind of a central platform, I will never join a super league.
Unless another 10 join it and we're left out.
I mean, look, you either believe it or not, but like VR-wise, that's the point he's pushing. But yes, of course, if every other big club goes and joins a Super League and he's under pressure, and also, Ricketts may be the lead investor, but there are other groups in there. Some of them are wealthy individuals. Some of them are private equity types who say, hey, I'm a private equity fund. It's not my money. It's my investors' money. I got to look out for my investors. If my investors think we want to return, Super League is it.
Yep.
I have a fiduciary duty to do what they tell me to do. Because this is another point that I think people often miss out on is the Glazers, it's their money, or rather, as we know, it's the bank's money. They bought it, whatever, right? So they can answer for themselves. But others, when you are owned by a fund, you've got fiduciary responsibilities.
You've got to look after their money.
Yeah, which I think is another point that's not always part of the conversation.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.